We'll see. Pick your sleeper. It's the Saints, the Titans, the Vikings, the Raiders, and the Giants. The Giants and the Vikings are going to be the popular sleeper teams. They both finished last in their. Oh no, the Vikings technically did.
They felt like
but
they
they felt like they did.
Detroit was last.
They're going to be so popular that by the time we get around to the season, I don't know if they'll even qualify as sleepers. But in a weird way, the Giants' sleeper status got buttressed today by that terrible John Harbaugh speech that you tweeted out, because I think it took some of the steam off of them.
It's unbelievable.
And then Saints, Titans, Raiders, those are legitimate sleepers.
Let's take a moment to really break down the Tennessee Titans as a legitimate under-the-radar contender. I've been saying it for a while now, and I'll keep saying it. This team is one of my favorite dark horse picks heading into the upcoming season. Everything I've seen from the Titans front office, coaching staff, and roster construction has me genuinely excited, and I want to lay out exactly why I feel that way. They find themselves in a truly unusual spot, and that's what makes them so compelling to analyze. When I think about my primary sleeper teams, 3 franchises immediately come to mind: the New Orleans Saints, the Las Vegas Raiders, and of course, the Tennessee Titans. Yet, each of these organizations is traveling down a completely distinct road. Their windows of opportunity aren't aligned, their developmental curves are different, and their overall trajectories point in separate directions. That said, the Titans are the group I feel most drawn to discuss in greater detail. But before we dive headfirst into the X's and O's, I have to extend a quick but important plea to all the Titans faithful out there. If you're a Tennessee fan tuning in, please, I'm begging you, do not forget to hit that subscribe button and stick around for the full-length breakdown. That remains, without question, the single most effective way to support what we're building here on this channel. It ensures we can keep delivering honest, level-headed, and unfiltered conversations about the Titans without any bias or hot take nonsense. Your subscription genuinely moves the needle, and I can't stress enough how much I appreciate every single one of you. We've already welcomed thousands upon thousands of Titans fans into this community, and the growth has been nothing short of remarkable. Honestly, it feels like just yesterday that Tennessee supporters were virtually non-existent in this space, and now they've arrived in full force. I couldn't be more thrilled about that development. My goal is to sustain that energy, keep the ball rolling, and continue expanding our reach so that when the regular season kicks off, we're already operating at full throttle from the very first snap. You also get a bit of a behind-the-scenes look here because, as you probably know, Titan-centric content isn't exactly flooding the market. There's only so much out there, so I want to produce as much quality material as I possibly can. Even when mainstream outlets do decide to shine a brief spotlight on Tennessee, it's usually just a tiny segment, but I still welcome it because any discussion about the Titans is worthwhile. So, with that said, let's keep pushing forward. Now, here's what I find so fascinating about this particular team. I've been searching for an appropriate comparison point to help frame the Titans' current situation, and after a lot of thought, I've landed on the 2024 Denver Broncos. That squad serves as a near-perfect reference model. First and foremost, I am incredibly high on Cam Ward coming out of this draft class. I cannot contain my excitement about pairing him with Brian Daboll. That duo is something I'm eagerly anticipating, and I genuinely loved everything about the Titans' draft strategy, their free agent acquisitions, and their overall offseason approach. Every move seems calculated and purposeful. Then you factor in Robert Saleh, a defensive-minded coach who has already demonstrated his capability to get the most out of a depleted, injury-riddled roster. The question now becomes, what can he accomplish when he actually has legitimate talent at his disposal? I believe he's already proven his worth in that department, so I'm extremely optimistic about the collective momentum building in Tennessee. None of this is to suggest that the Titans will be immune to growing pains. That's simply part of the process. And that's precisely why I keep circling back to the 2024 Broncos as a template. Going into that season, I was adamant that Bo Nix was poised for a standout campaign. I firmly believed the Broncos would exceed expectations, and when their win total over/under was released, I believe it was set somewhere around 4.5. I openly laughed at that number. I thought it was laughably low. My stance was that Denver would not only be competitive but would also secure a playoff berth and make some noise. Yet, I'll never forget the early weeks of that season. A particular comment stuck with me. Someone remarked that they felt misled about the Broncos because they had been led to believe this year would be different. Analysts like myself had been preaching change, and this individual felt let down. It wasn't a direct attack on me personally, just a general sentiment of frustration. My response was simple: growing pains are baked into the equation. Patience is required. Nobody deceived anyone. Even if the Broncos had ultimately fallen flat, even if they couldn't gain any traction, it was merely a reflection of what people genuinely believed at that moment. It was what I believed. And it simply took time for that vision to materialize on the field. Applying that same logic to the Titans, there will undoubtedly be tangible growing pains with Brian Daboll and Cam Ward working together. That's unavoidable. That's why I place so much emphasis on Robert Saleh and his ability to accelerate the defensive learning curve. He needs to get that unit up to speed as rapidly as possible so that the Titans can remain competitive in games during the early portion of the schedule. The goal is to avoid dropping consecutive contests right out of the gate. You don't want to force Cam Ward into a situation where he has to carry the offense from week 1. Instead, you allow him to develop organically without the immediate pressure of showcasing an elite connection with his receivers or perfecting the offensive system overnight. Let the process breathe. Let it simmer. Because even the most seasoned quarterbacks occasionally need a few weeks to find their rhythm, and that's especially true for a rookie or a second-year signal caller operating under a brand-new coaching staff. I've stated this before, and I'll reiterate it: I essentially throw out the rookie season when evaluating a quarterback. It holds virtually no weight in my assessment. Last year's circus-like environment for Cam Ward is irrelevant to me. What matters is what happens now, starting from this very moment. Look at Caleb Williams as a prime example. He ended up having a remarkably productive season last year, but it took several weeks for him to build any real momentum. These transitions require time. Even the practices early on were reportedly chaotic under Ben Johnson and Caleb, with the coach having to shut things down occasionally. It's a process. It takes patience. And even for a team that eventually won its division and captured a playoff victory, the early season product didn't resemble that at all. People were ready to write off Caleb, calling for the backup to take over. That wasn't some fringe opinion, it was a popular narrative. Prominent voices I respect, including Colin, were openly questioning whether it was working. And yet, that same team went on to clinch the division, make the playoffs, and win a postseason game. Frankly, they should have beaten the Los Angeles Rams as well, but that's a separate conversation. The point is, you will experience growing pains. You will endure some lows. You will face rough patches. That's precisely why I focus on the Titans' potential to be a genuine sleeper. The critical variable is how quickly Robert Saleh can mold this defense into a competitive unit. Can they steal a random game with a low-scoring victory, say 10-7 or something similar? That burden will fall squarely on the defense's shoulders. The 2024 Broncos executed that blueprint effectively. They managed to win those gritty, ugly contests that don't make highlight reels but are essential for building confidence and momentum. Those early weeks weren't pretty for Denver. They lost 20-26 and 6-13, and Bo Nix was far from his best. I remember catching a lot of heat from critics during that stretch. Then they rebounded with a solid win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which was straightforward and unremarkable. But then they won a game 10-9, which was an interesting affair with weather complications and a missed field goal. Nix threw for only 60 passing yards in that one, but they still found a way to prevail. Those are the types of victories that matter enormously over the course of a season. They even held the Pittsburgh Steelers to just 13 points. If the offense had been marginally better, they could have won that game too. So, that's the lens through which I'm viewing the Titans. I'm looking squarely at Robert Saleh and saying, get this defense up to standard. Make it a strength from day one. Let the defense set the tone while the offense takes its time to find its footing. There will be mistakes. There will be integration issues with Cam Ward, a new head coach, new offensive weapons, new receivers, and a developing rookie wideout. That's a lot of moving parts. It's a massive undertaking. Therefore, the defining factor for the Titans to truly emerge as a sleeper and position themselves for a playoff run is the defense. Even though I'm heavily invested in the Cam Ward-Brian Daboll connection and view it as the most exciting aspect of this team, I still need to see what Saleh can deliver on the defensive side. If he can quickly transform this group into a formidable, competitive unit that keeps the Titans in games during the inevitable growing pains, whether those occur in the opening weeks, the middle of the season, or down the stretch, then the Titans have a real shot. Those challenges aren't confined to the first few weeks, they can surface at any time. But if the defense holds up, then the Titans are in business. That's the framework I'm using to evaluate this team right now. Those are my initial thoughts, but I'm genuinely eager to hear your perspectives. What do you all think about the Tennessee Titans and their potential as a sleeper pick? Do you believe they're ready to catch the NFL off guard? Drop your opinions in the comments section. I read every single one, whether you agree with me or completely disagree. Let's spark some debates, maybe even a few friendly arguments, but above all, let's keep it enjoyable. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already. We are cultivating an incredible community here, and I would absolutely love to have you as part of it. My ambition is to build something we all feel genuinely connected to, something we're all excited to be a part of. I think we're well on our way to achieving that. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up because it truly helps with visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much for your time and support.